Hey, folks. We'll be starting the broadcast shortly. Hang tight. Yeah, we'll get going shortly. I'm hoping that that you guys, whoever's watching now, is able to help me build a character. I'm going to go through the load up and setup for the character build, and hopefully we'll have enough time to build a decent character. Yeah, we'll get going shortly. I'm hoping that that you guys, whoever's watching now, go through the load up and setup for the character build, and hopefully we'll have enough time to build a decent character. Just going to wait a little bit longer, about 5 more minutes, then we'll get going. I haven't broadcast on YouTube yet, so how does the sound quality sound? I have some birds in the background. Is that too loud? Yeah, I just didn't want to be too overwhelming or too annoying. I think I'm going to switch the soundtrack a little bit. Okay, either way, as long as you guys can hear, that's what's important. If you can hear my voice, you don't need the extras. You talking about me or the background? What do you use to stream audio into your mic stream, or does the broadcaster does it? Yeah, it's OBS. You can mix it, put a compressor on it, and that sort of thing. But I could limit the background noise so it doesn't, come out banging. I turned it down just in case. Every now and then you'll hear a crow quacking. So I have David. I have a USB mic plugged in my computer, and then in OBS I select the microphone, and then you can also feed in audio from other sources. So I have a soundboard that I can put through the background. OBS is great. I guess I could do that and get around Sirenscape. Yeah, maybe. It just depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to do a stream, I think you can use the new Sirenscape online player, the beta, and you can probably backfeed it through Discord. But you got to make sure your volume's not up on your YouTube or on Twitch, wherever you're broadcasting. That way it doesn't delay. Because I had it on earlier, and I can repeat. Yeah, Unity is a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna get started. I don't want to bore you guys and waste your time. So tonight I'm gonna focus mainly on the interface, but I do want to help you guys, get through some concerns or stuff that you have. I don't know everything. I just know enough to get by. I do know that character creation is very, very similar. That's great. Still a few bugs, but that's to be imagined. If anyone is watching this video later in archived format, this is Unity Beta. It is not a complete product. As of March 26, 2020, this is something that is in work. The full release is not out yet, although it is a public beta. As long as the disclaimer's there that you realize that this is not the final product and that this is just for testing purposes, then that would be something that you want to take heed of, and don't use this video necessarily to judge the software. So I think I said my little rant about the disclaimer. So let's get started. So right here, this is the launch screen. When I say right here, this is basically the beginning of this. On the top left, you have a log that will pop up occasionally, like when you're connecting or downloading. Your data folder is now on the top left instead of the top right. And you have host campaign and join campaign. And then you have all these links that are associated with getting help or going to support, those sort of things. So I'm going to click on host campaign since I am the host. And as you can see, I already have some started. So I'm going to click new. And you're going to click on the rule set that you want to show. So it'll be 5e in this case. And I am going to put the name of the campaign. So Unity PC builds. If you want to put a password or your game master name, you can. I'm going to stick this on private. I don't want it on the public server. And this will just be a local area network, so I don't worry about that. In this particular dialog box is your extensions. I'm going to load up the new wood extension. I kind of like it. It's new for both platforms. And then I have a font called Montserrat, and this Montserrat is an extension that was created by Matakire in our community. So if you're part of Fantasy Grounds College, you can use that to enhance your font so it's a little bit more legible. He's created two versions, one for Classic, one for Unity. So if you go into Fantasy Grounds College, you go to the general area, and if you look at the little thumbtack pin, if you click on that and drop it down, you'll see them listed there. So that is that. So I'm going to hit start. It takes a few minutes to load. There is about probably a 10-second delay between the live feed and the chat. So I'm just waiting for Fantasy Grounds to load up now. It might be a little more than 10 seconds. It looks like about 15. I'm hoping that we see Lady Shell in the chat. I'm having trouble with Discord, so I had to bail on Discord. I was going to try to simulcast broadcast out of there, but for some reason it was giving me grief, so I had to shut down Discord. I think it has something to do with the double broadcasting or something, OBS, I don't know. But I'm on YouTube and OBS right now, and I don't think I want anything else going on, so it might be a blessing in disguise to not have Discord right now. This will take a couple minutes to load, depending on what you've got in your library and the specs on your computer. It does take a little bit more memory. There are some published minimum specs, which are based off of the Unity build. Unity itself has a minimum. I don't remember all the specs for it, but it has a lot to do with the instruction set of your CPU. And video card does help too, but I think it's mainly your hard drive to your CPU and motherboard. It's one of those things where you might have a bottleneck somewhere, so hopefully people who have older computers will still play Classic for a while, and then they might decide to upgrade. But at this point, I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get away with at least another year or of solid gaming on the older platform. This one definitely needs some refinement, and it also needs to have more content ported over, and not just D&D but all the other rule sets. So it's gonna take a while. I know they're focusing on what makes the money, so we'll have to deal with that. But so now that the interface is up, I'm always going to advise that you set up your table in a certain way. So I'm going to move this over here for right now, and I'm going to right click on this lock and stretch this out. Maybe just move it down here, and then I'm going to the combat tracker up just in case I need to test something. This is just for character building. And then I always set up my dice tower. So I'm in the option, I go down to the GM area, and I just got rid of the Smiteworks logo. And then I click on table dice tower, and then chat show GM roles on. That brings up the dice tower. So when I right click on it, I can actually unlock it and move it. So I'm going to park it right here and unlock it. And then if you're the host, you can right click in this chat, you can clear all that out. And now this campaign setup makes it real easy for you to go through here. So I'm going to click next, and I'm going to click on all the 5e core rules. So that takes a little bit of time. Once it loads the books up, it will give you a confirmation. Now this is assuming that you have at least the standard license and the core rule books, which is the DM's guide, the player's handbook, and the monster manual. If you don't have those, you can load the SRD and the basic rules. You won't have as many options or choices, but you'll still be able to kind of look through it and kind of get a feel for how things go. But Fantasy Grounds is interesting software for sure. Brings people together. There's people that haven't seen each other in many years that get to play now through it. There's some military buddies, college mates, ex-girlfriends, and all, friends that moved across the United States that now get to play because of Fantasy Grounds. That's one of the reasons I really like it, because it gives you that ability. It facilitates you guys to be able to play from a remote distance. And then what's really cool is you can actually use it as your library. So if you went to somewhere that didn't have internet, but you had a laptop and batteries, I mean, you could set it up and run all your games out of there. So it's a pretty handy tool. All right, so I have the core books loaded here. So I'm going to close that. And if you want to load more books, you can click on modules. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to load some of the third-party stuff, like the Rob 2e coding effects. Definitely want to load those up, show you guys those. And once Unity's updated and some of the extensions get updated, I'll start using more of those. But right now I'm only using the font one, as I don't trust the others just yet. So here I have the 5e background class equipment bundles. So the reason I have that is because it makes making characters so much easier. Rob designed these backpacks. So basically when you drag the stuff over onto your sheet, it puts everything in there at once instead of doing one little tool or one weapon at a time. I'm going to load the class features. That actually adds all of the special class features, including all the latest books. In case you want to use feats, he has that. And then your racial traits. So this covers a lot of the things that you don't normally get with the rule set. I mean, it's there, but you have to code it in yourself. And then I'm going to go ahead and load up the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. So in the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, the only thing I'm going to enable is the player's part of it. I don't need the maps or the adventure guide itself. I'm going to load up Mordenkainen. Again, just the player side of it. Hey, Lady Shell. Welcome. I was hoping you'd make it. I wanted to see how the feed is for your computer. All I'm doing is building a character. And I just wanted to see how the feed worked. And I kind of got it figured out. I'll talk to you about it later. But thanks for coming. Right now, I'm just enabling the library. So you got this nice little handy search bar down here. So I'm just kind of using the first 3 letters. So I loaded Xanathar's, Mordenkainen's, the Player's Handbook, Sword Coast. Yeah, Lady Shell's in the chat, everybody. You have any questions? She's pretty good at answering these. She's been through a lot of these. I haven't been talking for the last minute or so, so maybe... Okay, that's good, Lady Shell. So maybe it's because of either your internet or because I wasn't talking. Right now I'm still activating the library, so bear with me. I'm also trying to show people that haven't done this before, so this is why I'm kind of going through the basics. So here's Volo's guide. And I think I'm going to load the... Well, let's see. I don't want to load too much. Oh, the equipment. Oh, I already got that. The trinket. No, I don't have that loaded. Let's see if there's any other wizard's books. So there's the Avernus setting, Curse of Strahd, Eberron maybe. Zed as the Artificer and some other things. And then the Elemental Evil Player's Guide. That has some stuff. There's the new Wildemount. Goes to Saltmarsh. Gives you a couple backgrounds. Yeah, I don't think I need too many more. I think I'm pretty good. Yeah, we're good. So if you want to see what you actually have loaded, you click this All button. And this just shows you what you have loaded. Instead of everything in your library, it just shows you the things that you have activated. So that's a pretty good library. So I'm going to close the parcels. Now this is all the things I have loaded in the library. It's quite a bit. So we have, oh, I didn't enable the spells module. I want to get that. So I forgot to load the Rob 2e spells module. There we go. So that's all I was doing is setting up the library. But if you've never used any of these official books, if you click on any of the official Wizards of the Coast books and you click on reference manual, this is where the actual book is. So if you want to look something up, like you have a library, you can click on here. There's a section about character creation, which we're going to do. And if you scroll down, this actually gives you some advice on what order to build it in. And then you could search. So I'm looking up languages. And I'm going to click on languages. And I'm going to pop the page out. Later on, if I need to pick some languages, I can bring that up. So I'm going to hotkey this. And then you can close it. So Fantasy Grounds got some really cool features I really like. I'm excellent. Yeah. I'm hearing the music, but not hearing Leroon. Last thing you heard was Sword Coast. Let me double check that. No, I got a mic pegged here. Not sure what's going on. Anybody else have that problem? Huh. Well, hopefully that's not a continuous issue. I may have to deal with that. It might have something to do with the focus. So, let's see. Now what I'm going to do is actually start building the character. So I'm going to click PC. And really not a whole lot's different in Unity, but one thing I wanted to show you that's cool is if you are the host, you can access all your characters that you've ever built in your copy of Fantasy Grounds. So if I try to import character, everything I've built on this table is in this character manager now. You don't have to go outside of the program anymore. You can actually import from any campaign within your own table, which is really cool. So anytime anyone builds a character, it's going to stay in this. No matter which campaign you are, you can pull it in. So that's really cool. So I am going to create a new one. So I'm going to click this green plus button. And I think I better check my audio before I go any further. Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, cool. Anybody here not already kind of know what they're doing? Yeah, I probably just stopped talking, exactly. Anybody kind of new to this or never used Fantasy Grounds at all? This is the Fantasy Grounds Unity Beta. This is not the classic version, but it works very much the same, especially character creation. It's very, very similar. So if you've never used this before and you have, if you just want to get the classic version, that's fine. That'll work really well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start building. So the first thing we do is we build stats, and that's the ability scores. There's a dice roller that you can actually change the volume on. So if I go into the commands, and you scroll up, there's a /dice volume. So I'm going to just put it at about 30%. And then that turns the volume down so it's not so loud. I don't know if that came through. But that's one of those things that you have to check out on your own is the volume. I don't know if you guys were able to hear the dice. Oh, okay, you're Tallaway. Gotcha. Cool. All right, so if you want multiple dice, you can right-click on any die. In this case, I'm going to grab 4, and I'm going to drop them in one of my slots here. So this is how you make a dice macro. And if you want to add more dice to it, different sides, you can. So I'm just going to do the old 4d6 method, or you can do the standard array, which is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. So that's the standard array. I want to get risky, and I'll see if I get some crappy rolls. So I'm going to roll a 4d6. Look at that, right off the bat, a 7. A 17. Wow. I am afraid. Yeah, it's not really that bad. You got a 17, 18, but then you have this 8 and this other 8 you have to deal with. Maybe I'll make him a gladiator. Oh, either that or just use the standard array. You know what? I think I'm gonna brave it. So for this roll, the 7, it's gonna be a 6. So I'm gonna want to say charisma. The ugly person, or not so joyful, and then maybe not so smart either. So that's an 8. So I've already got a race in mind. The next thing is we have this 17. Too bad. So that's a 14. So I probably put that on probably Dex at least. That's not bad. And then I have another 17. That's actually got to be a 13. So I probably put that on Wisdom. And then I have a 15, which is actually going to be a 13. And then I have this 18, which is actually going to be a 17. So that's the stats for this guy. Yeah, standard array would have been. I want to see you get all 5s. Yeah, ugly as sin. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So this is just something that I threw together real quick. I wanted to test the live broadcasting on YouTube. Seems to be okay. Yeah, poor PC is dumb and ugly. Yeah. Well, he's going to be a half-orc gladiator is probably what he's going to end up being. All right, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Half-orc gladiator. I like it. So now I'm going to stretch this character sheet down. And so the first step was to come up with the ability scores. And now I'm going to go ahead and pick my background, which I said was going to be a gladiator. So I'm going to hit library, click on create PC. That way I have all the character creations banners. But I also want parcels for later, because that's where all the items are stored in for the packs that Rob made. All right, so background. Gladiator. So he ain't a whole, he's got performance as part of his and disguise kit. So every disguise he has to be ugly or not very charismatic about it. That's funny. I know charisma's not just looks, but I can just envision it. So race. So the race is half orc. There we go. So let's see what this does for his stats. Oh yeah. He's got a 14 con, 19 strength. So it added 1 to con and 2 to strength. That's pretty badass. So he's stronger. I'll get out. Yeah, I know, but yeah, he's been fighting in the pits. This guy is not very showy. He's just all muscle and brawn. And now for class and level, I'm going to open this out. And I'm going to drag over my class. So this is going to be a fighter of some sort. He gets 2 skills, so I don't want to double up. So I get I already have acrobatics, intimidation, performance. So I'm going to get athletics. And let's say survival or perception. I'd say survival. He's gonna need it. Okay, so that's his skills. And now I'm gonna level him up. So the first step you do is the ability scores, background, race, and your class. I'm gonna actually take my class description, drag it to the hotkeys, and my background. There's some tables on there I want to look at later. So now I want to drag this little link here just over and back into the box. And it adds new features. You got more hit points, and you're up to level 2 now. So now I'm going to go to level 3 so I can get my archetype. Okay, so now I have an option here. So probably Battle Master or Champion. Yeah, he's going to be a champion. Yeah. So I'm going to select Champion, click OK, and everything that was added to his abilities are all back here. So everything's on his sheet now. I don't have to do anything. So if you build this correctly in this order, that your stuff will it'll turn out right. Omen would like it if you made it female. We could actually do that. It fell on a barbed wire face. Fell on a barbed wire fence. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to close this. We can make him Groglor the Grotesque. Groglor the Grotesque. There we go. All right, so that's Groglor. I'm going to go ahead and put him on the combat tracker in case we need to test some of his skills and such. And now I'm going to go to his abilities tab. And he has savage attacks. It says when you score a critical hit with a melee weapon, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice one additional time and add it to the extra damage of the critical hit. So if this guy crits, it's seriously crits. So I'm going to go to actions, and up here in the weapons category, if you click here, this is the metadata. And I'm going to add one extra dice for his critical. So that's where that goes. So I've already dealt with that. He gets relentless endurance. So if he's reduced to hit points, he will not drop outright. He'll go to 1 hit point instead. So he can use this once per day after a long rest. So I'll look at that later. And he has menacing. He gains the intimidation skill that was already added. Second wind. It's a fighter trait. So it's like a healing martial archetype. So this just describes that he has a archetype that is related to fighting. Improved critical. So beginning when you choose this archetype at 3rd level, your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. So that accounts for both missile and melee. So again, I'm going to go to the metadata. So if this guy crits, you're in big trouble. So that is that. So this, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, once per long rest, he gets to, it's a feature where he can basically survive instead of being killed or unconscious. He gets a feature where he can just go to 1 hit point, which is nice. But you can only do it once per rest or long rest, once a day, basically. And then he has all these special abilities I got to look at. So he has fighting style, so I have to pick one. So you have archery, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, and protection, and 2 weapon fighting. I think I'm going to give him great weapon fighting. So I put a notation here, and I'm going to pick that weapon now, since I know it's not included normally. I need a great weapon of some sort. So I'm going to go to items. So what do you think this guy is? He wants a maul. So you think this guy should have a maul or a great sword or a great axe? So he gets a special weapon, and it's not going to be that special, only the fact that he gets to do a lot of damage with it. So I'm going to type in great. So there's a great axe, a great club, great sword. Yeah, so axe, club, or sword. That's the choices. Let's roll a dice. So if it's a 1, it's going to be a great axe, or 1 or 2. If it's 3 or 4, it's going to be a great club. And if it's 5 or 6, it's going to be a great sword. Let's see what happens. Aha! Great axe it is. So, great axe +1. Or great. Yeah, just great axe. He's already got a lot of extra damage. He's B2 OP. So, what I'm going to do is drag the great axe onto his equipment tab. And one of the properties he has for this is to re-roll. So on this sheet here, I'm going to open up the properties, and he gets to re-roll on a 1 or a 2. That's one of his features. So great weapon fighting, you re-roll a 1 or a 2 on damage die. You have to have two-hand or versatile property for this event. So that's going to add that. So if I put re-roll 2, what that does is every time he swings that axe and he hits with it, if he rolls a 1 or a 2, it'll re-roll. It gives him a higher chance of doing more damage. So this guy is just a straight up melee machine. Great axe, yay! Okay. So now I think I'm going to get him a dagger. Everybody's got to have a little shank in their life. So in his inventory, I'm going to drag over the dagger. Also thinking about getting him a net. Yeah, cool. So here's a net. And then I'm going to get him probably some javelins. So I'm going to get him a few javelins. Okay. So while I'm here, I might as well give him his starting equipment. So I'm going to go to parcels. And this is from his background. So he gets to pick the gladiator background equipment. So we got a costume, a lock of hair, a pouch, and a little bit of gold, and some clothes. Yep. And then I'm going to pick his fighter background. And I'm going to remember to remove the actual weapons because he's got his weapons. Yeah, so he has chainmail. I might leave that. He has a crossbow. So he doesn't need that. Not for what he's doing. He has a shield, which he won't need. Unarmed strike. Pouch, pythons, hammer, great axe, dagger, crowbar, battle axe. You don't need that anymore. He's pretty good to go there. I'm gonna get him a potion though. Maybe one potion of healing. All right. Yeah, he can grapple, exactly. So the net's kind of hard to use, but, you know, I was going to get him a trident, but The chainmail. His armor class ain't bad. Yeah, it's kind of, I think that's about as heavy as it wants to go, though, because if he gets anything heavier, oh, he's not benefiting from here anyways, so, whatever. So chainmail it is. Should give him studded leather. But that's okay. So he has one dagger, 3 javelins, okay. So that's that. And he has unarmed strike. So that's 1 plus a strength bonus. So if he punches somebody, you can do 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Okay. So we did the fighting style. He is the champion. Doesn't get that till 7th, so I don't have to worry about that. By popular demand. So this is his performance thing. Action surge. So these are the traits that I have left to worry about. I think I've dealt with everything else. Now he has a disguise kit and 1 musical instrument. I can't see him playing an instrument, especially through broken teeth. So I think he has a drum. I think he has a broken tusk. So that's his hand drum. And then he has, what's the other thing? Disguise kit. Well, to help him a little bit. Maybe he dress up like a female once in a while. Who knows? So this guy's kit is charisma based. Well, if he uses his kit, he doesn't get a penalty, so that's good. That's kind of funny though. So without that disguise kit, boy, he can't pull off anything. Yeah, his charisma's yeah. So he gets to add 2 from his proficiency bonus, brings it up to 8. Nice. Okay, so menacing, yep. So he gets a disguise kit and musical instrument, simple weapons, martial weapons, common, and orc. Okay. So I'm going to organize his inventory. So he has chainmail, dagger, great axe, 3 javelins, a net. So he's pretty well stocked with weapons. He has a potion of healing, and he has his unarmed strike if he doesn't have any weapons. He has a little bit of a climbing gear in case he needs that. He's got food and water and torches, so he's pretty good. I think his equipment is fine. Cross-dressing half-orc, maybe. Yeah, the drum does fit because he's definitely, not very dexterous, so, or not very performance-based. So, okay, so we're building characters in the 5th edition rule set using Fantasy Grounds Unity beta version. So Groggler the Grotesque is who we're building. And he's just a big, hulking, probably 6'3" half orc that has fought in the arena and the pits. Maybe he has all kinds of scars on him, probably burn marks, all kinds of stuff. So he's male. I think he's probably in his mid-20s. So made him 6'4". He's 227 pounds. So he's lawful neutral, so he's very disciplined. That's about it. Didn't have a whole lot of personality. I'm going to bring up his background. This is why I bookmarked this, so I can come up with this later. So there's a table here, his routine. So I want to roll, see what he does. 4. So he's a jester? I don't think so. What? It rolled again. A 4. Oh my god. 3 rows, 3 rolls in a row at a 4. I think he's meant to be a jester. So I'm going to put jester. So I think he dresses up in that costume, and it's more of a comedy thing, like more of a pity and a comedy thing. So I don't think he likes it. I think he's forced to. I think it's part of his routine. I think just the mockery of it makes it funny. At least not to him, but the crowd. So 7 would be I settle for nothing less than perfection, and that's to be a professional jester. Just kidding. Whenever I come to a new place, I collect local rumors, spread gossip. I know a story relevant to almost every situation. Nobody stares angry at me or around me for long, since I can diffuse any amount of tension. Kind of like that. I get bitter if I'm not the center of attention. I'll settle for nothing less. I change my mood or my mind as quickly as I change key in a song. Yeah, I kind of like the nobody stares at me for long. Yep, he's a jester. And a cross-dressing one at that. Okay, ideals. Beauty, tradition, creativity, greed, people, honesty. Art should reflect the soul. It should come. I don't know if any of these actually fit him. Maybe tradition. There we go. So his ideal is traditions. It says the stories, legends, and songs of the past must never be forgotten, for they teach us who we are. So that makes sense, I guess, for him. About as close as we're going to get. So let's see what keeps him bonded. Someone stole my precious instrument, and someday I'll get it back. What the hell is it? Hairbrush or something? I will do anything to prove myself superior to a hated rival. I idolize a hero of the old tales. Yeah, I like that one. One of his mighty ancestors or something. Here's his flaw. I'm a sucker for a pretty face. Wow. That's, you know what? That worked. It's easy. It's right to the point. Yep. Interesting person here. So inventory is dealt with, the notes. All right, so now the actions tab. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new group here. So the first group is going to be his class features. So I'm going to add a new power, which is not really a power, but it's a new category. And I'm going to open up Rob 2e's spell effects coding. It's actually his class feature one. So yeah, just some of the things that happened to him is pretty funny. But I imagine when he swings that axe, it's not going to be very funny. So in the spells, the Rob 2e coding effects are stored. So I'm going to go with this 5e coding effects class feature. So now I'm going to go to fighter. Let's stretch this out a little bit. Okay. Action search. So that's dealt with. And then second wind. Right here. So those are dealt with. And then I might as well make his standard actions. Oops. So again, I'm going to click on the star. Just waiting for the materials to load up. Okay, so action dodge, help, hide, and ready. And now for his orcish abilities, racial traits. Okay, so I'm now building, let's see, we want the half orc. Okay, so relentless endurance. So again, I'm going to add this section for his racial trait. And it re-alphabetizes. And I'm going to drag this over. Okay. So this is his, basically that's what he gets. So he has all of these different traits. Dealt with second wind and relentless endurance. So he is a done deal. Now, let's see what he looks like in action. So I'm going to bring up a map of some sort. So while I'm waiting for that to load up, any questions? It's pretty straightforward. I mean, most of the character build is the same in Fantasy Grounds as it is in Unity. So there's really not a lot of difference in character builds, at least in 5th edition rule set. I mean, there's a couple subtle things, but nothing major. So I'm going to load up a. Yeah, it's very close. I mean, other than the artwork and such, it's super close. I mean, the only thing that's going to really take some time is the connectivity and the map tools. Everything else is about the same. The character manager is a little different, but you don't have mood lighting anymore, which is a bummer. But okay, okay. So I went ahead and loaded this excavation map. So I'm going to test the character. Yeah, no doubt. The effects now. So you'll have, steam and or mist, snow, that sort of thing. So you won't really need the mood lighting supposedly as much. I hope they do a thunder and lightning one. It'll probably take a lot of memory though. I think that's like running a little short video. Yeah, it's very similar. It's just a few things. It's really not that bad. As a player, you probably won't notice much. Um, once it's finished, you probably won't see a whole lot of difference. So I'm waiting for a map to load up. While that's happening, is there any other questions or comments, concerns? There's a couple things I wanted to mention. As of March 2020, the Fantasy Grounds Unity beta test version that you can purchase is not quite yet available on Steam yet. So if you want to get everything through Steam, or if that's how you normally purchased, you want to make sure that you wait if you can. Otherwise, if you buy it from the store, you have to wait for them to transfer the key over to beta, and that could take even longer. So I think in the long run, you're better off just waiting until it's released on Steam. The other thing is that it's not fully finished, so I think they're shooting for around the end of April to have it completed. I don't know. I don't have a hard date, but that's what they told us in our last Fantasy Grounds Fridays meeting. The other thing is, give it some time. Let it think when you're using it. Don't force anything. And some of the memory is not optimized fully. When do they expect it to go GA? What is that? When do they expect it to go? I don't know, is that full release or huh? I don't know for sure. They didn't really give us a good solid date because I don't think they really know themselves. I think they're still working through bugs and trying to work with the community on things that are being found. One of the biggest issues, to be honest, is the consumers. I mean, yeah, they took a while to get this out. Oh, general availability, yeah, that's probably after April. But the main thing is now you got all these people on there, and people are moving their campaigns over, which I don't recommend. And all that's doing is forcing um, the customer service to focus on stuff that really shouldn't even be addressed at the moment. And then the other thing is like people don't know how to report. So I'm saying a majority of the people, the users, are not sure where and how to report issues. So if we would spend more time helping them fix it rather than trying to move our campaigns over, I think it would go a lot smoother. But you can't tell people what not to do and what to do. So, but it would help if we actually became a lot more astute at helping them with that. I mean, it's not our job, but if we want this thing up and running and working nicely, it'd be great. They do have a place to report stuff too. So I'm opening up the map now. So it's kind of pretty. Wow. So I'm going to unlock it. It already has a grid on it. So if you click on grid, it's already set. But if you want to change the color of the grid, you can do that. So you can pick like a purple blue. It's kind of cool. I think that stands out a little bit more. And then if you wanted to line these things out or, make the line of sight, you click on the line of sight tool up here. And you'd be doing this before the game starts, of course. So just a quick and dirty thing. So I'm going to do a square. This might be a secret door though, so I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and do a square. So instead of doing lines, I'm going to actually do a rectangle. Actually, I'm not. So you can hit Control Z to get out of it. I forgot that there's this platform here. So what I'm going to do is, this might be raised up a little bit. So I'm going to do this a little differently. So I'm going to go to line mode instead. And I'm going to click here. And then up here, I'd probably make this raised. So you can do like a terrain thing and just do this top part of it where the landing is. So I'm going to go back to line mode. You see kind of how I goobered this up. So what you want to do is go to selection mode and click this point. You can move it. So we'll see how that looks. All right, so now I'm going to put some kind of effect on it. So I'm going to go to layers and I'm going to click on the effects down below. And I'm going to click on the effect and then I go to the effects button and select an effect. So I'm going to go with the mist. Now I'm in play mode. So I'm going to right click and recenter, but I want to change the frame. So I just kind of zoomed it in to fit. There we go. Now I'm going to put Grogler on the map. So I'm in play mode now. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Put Grogler on the map. And when you pick him up, you have to turn on line of sight. Sorry about that. So I got to turn it on. Okay. So now, see, I have this little crack here. That's messed up. So I got to fix that. But that's how the line of sight works. And now, if he comes to the stairwell, so I'm going to get him a little, yeah, this is Zovia. Zovia's map. I'm going to have him fight a creature or something. Just test it out. The Behair. The thing is pretty badass. So he has to fight this ugly creature. All right. So I'm going to roll initiative. Okay. Behair goes first. So he's visible, obviously. So he is a nasty creature. So we'll see what he does. He has a multi-attack. He gets 2 attacks, one with his bite and one to constrict. So he moves up to here. And he's within striking distance. So he attacks. So his bite. Oh my god. He scored a critical hit on the first roll. What the hell? Now, the damage. This is probably going to kill him in one blow. He went down in one blow. However, he has that trait. So this thing, this orc, relentless endurance. So it heals him for 1 hit point, and I click this because it's basically used. And now I'm going to use this bonus action, second wind. Yay! He's healed. But the Behair only bit him and thought he was dead, so he didn't take a second attack. So that's his turn. So Groglor took his turn. He basically he used his feature and his bonus action. So I think he's just going to move aside. That's all he can do right now. He's really hurt though. All right, so the Behair is going to attack again. This time he's going to get both attacks. He actually still hit with that low roll. Yeah, Groglor's down. Yeah, so Groglor is dying. So this creature goes up to constrict him. Oh my god, another critical hit. Can you get any more critical than that? All those dice. Oh, instant death. So you just squeezed him and he just popped his head right off. Yeah. So that's basically the end of Groglor. So any questions? Do not fight a Behair. All right, folks. I'm going to call it a night. I just wanted to try out YouTube for broadcast. If you have any questions, come on into the college. Got people around. Go in to Ask the Experts. And we also have other videos that are up for Unity-based things. I hope that you guys will eventually embrace Unity and get to know its functionality, its little quirks, just like we did with Classic. So until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks, Lady Shell, for moderating. Bye-bye.